We're going to get into our Hereford Boars. We are. First one is Big Timber. Big Timber is a LEH Legacy times White Sox. He was bred by McCullough and Barons. This boar was a champion Hereford Boar. Oh, guys, sorry, wrong boar. This is Final Say. All the Herefords look alike, maybe. This is Final Say. Rewind here. Final Say is Never Say Never times Tonka. He's bred by Clint High Farms. This was the grand champion Hereford Boar at the Ohio State Fair last year. This boar has sired pigs that have a lot of shape and a lot of look. This boar doesn't show it now as an older boar, but this boar is just packed full of muscle. He is $50 a dose. This is Final Say. He's real good.
I think Kyle looks good driving Herefords.
Kyle does good with Herefords. Kyle Scott said you look good driving a Hereford. Yeah. All right, I'll get it right. This is Big Timber. Big Timber, I announced a minute ago, bred by McCullough and Barons, champion Hereford Boar at the Summer Type Conference last year. This boar was unique to me in terms of just his foot size and substance of bone for Hereford Boar. This is a stout dude. This is Big Timber. He's priced at $50 a dose. We've got an incredible set of Hereford gilts out of him that we're planning on bringing back to Final Say. Again, this boar's just, I think, extra stout in his feature for the Hereford breed. Big Timber. We have one spot boar to show you. This is Sure Shot. Many of you remember Pistol. Pistol was an incredible, for us anyway, spot boar. We have a handful of spot sows, and we were fortunate enough to get Pistol in as an age boar. Many of you have used Pistol and you know what he was and how he did. Pistol developed a testicle issue and was not able to be saved, and so this boar came along, and we own this boar in conjunction with 3N Farms of Barney's, and appreciate them partnering with us on this boar. This was a young pig at Rick Fogel's. He was just a little guy when we bought him in Fogel's dispersal sale. Brought him home. He had an injury. His left rear leg there, if you watch him, he's not right there. He was three-legged to the point that he went several weeks and did not put any weight on that leg. So we're thankful that he's back to the way he is. His semen quality is good. His attitude is good. He is out of the world record selling spot sow, Miss May. You need to know this is a carrier. This boar is a carrier. He's out of Pistol. His name is Sure Shot. He is $100 a dose.
I'll talk a little bit about his mother. She was the champion bred sow at the World Pork Expo there. Oh, it's been 4 or 5 years ago now, and Jarrett Mays took her up there bred. The Fogel family bought her, and she was the top-selling bred sow of all time, $13,000. Rick Fogel didn't have any spot sows at that time, to my knowledge, and I think that's where he started his base from, that sow. He built that spot herd as good as any across the country here, especially in Ohio. That sow is very tremendous in making females and making good, outstanding show bearers. And he just basically built that good spotted herd around her. This one here comes from the heart of that herd. Pistol was a tremendous spotted breeding boar. Won several things down in the Southwest and OYE and Houston and San Antonio. There's a lot of good blood in this boar. If you got spotted sows out there to breed, I wouldn't hesitate to use him at all.
This is Sure Shot. Okay, guys, we're coming down the home stretch. We've got, I believe, 10 crossbred boars to show you. We started the show off today with a tremendous breeding boar. We've got another tremendous breeding boar coming into the ring now. This is Business. Many of you have used Business. You know what he'll do. Business has had just a tremendous run when he came here, and I remember Dale Garrett sitting out there, came and saw Business for the first time, and he said, yep, this one checks all the boxes. This is an old boar, but I think you can still see the good in him. Pedigrees like no other, Heat Seeker times Deliverance times Hillbilly Bone sound system. He's bred by Nathan Ray. He is stress negative. He's $50 a dose. This is Business.
I told Doc this morning I was probably going to step on my soapbox just a little bit when we got to the crossbred side of things. And what's interesting about this boar, and boars in general, whether they're here or up at Jim's or in SGI or wherever, we all want the newest, latest, greatest thing. I don't drive into a Chevy dealership and want to see their old junk and behind the barn. I go and want to see the new trucks. The problem is the old ones are usually better than them new ones. I've owned a few that can be a problem. So as you sit back and you ask yourselves, and I see a lot of faces around here that used this boar a couple years ago, and you all got your picture taken, and that was great. It was tremendous. It's awesome. That's what we're here for. And then last fall, we all want to go to the next new one, which is also good. Congratulations. That's what we need to do. I challenge you to go home and ask yourself, how many did this one make better, and how many did some of them new ones make better? Because this guy did it for you, and he did it in some sows that probably aren't very good. So, and again, I know that sounds a little crass, it sounds a little rough, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I won't make you show your hands, but I can tell you a lot of people I know that I just ask them, why didn't you use him again? Well, because he's old. Well, I'm old, and I hope my wife continues to keep me around. So in all seriousness, guys, this guy's made a lot of them better. He made them denser, he made them stouter, he made them bigger back, he made them better looking, he made them shorter behind. He added stoutness and feature and bone and width and did all those things, and they continue and they grew. I mean, God forbid we have some crossbreds that eat feed, and you don't have to sprinkle Game On their feed every 15 minutes, Blaine, to make them take a nibble. The only guy that likes that's Blaine Evans, by the way. The only guy that wants you to eat like that is him. The rest of us want to eat shell corn and soybean meal and look good. So study your lesson a little bit is the point I'm trying to make. If you need to make them more dense, you need to make them stouter, wider, better pastured, and I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face. Everything I've seen this summer has been too flat-footed, too boogered up behind, and too flat-ribbed. I've had to use a couple I didn't like that were that way. So pay attention to what this guy's done for you. You all know how to use him. You all used him when you got here. Don't take him to a little stout one. I mean, there's a little Deliverance in there, so don't take him to little ones. But if you're too big and flat and too nasty, use that guy, because he will open them up. He will make them go behind. He will make them secure. He will give them a big rib, and he won't cost you a farm payment to get it done. I'll step off my soapbox now. That's Business. Pay attention.
Business got something aggravating him just a little bit there. Try and get out of his ear. But yeah, we have never been higher on him. Talked to Al Schminke at the Ohio State Fair. Al used Business really heavy in that first season, and Al told me that he just had an incredible set of Business daughters at home that were getting the job done and made his crossbreds better.
Probably his most value was in those daughters.
Yeah, Scott said probably his most valuable sows are out of Business. So love to see you use him. Think there's a lot of good there. Next boar is All Business, again bred by Nathan Ray. This was a boar that I purchased as a little pig from Nathan. He's a Business son out of a Stingray New Wave daughter. This boar, you know, Business lines up Sugar Daddy's mama, I don't know, over 20 times. Business was bred back to a Sugar Daddy bred sow, and so All Business actually lines up that incredible sow even one more generation. He is stress negative. He's $50 a dose. He has had an incredible run in terms of siring at our local county fair last year, the Grand Barra or Grand Overall, and then I think it was either the Guild or the Barra, whichever the other was were both All Businesses. So another opportunity here to tie into something really good. This is All Business.
I won't rewind on what I just said, but I feel as confident about this one as I do the one we just let out. That boar from the beginning Kevin gave me the opportunity to just kind of feed him. And I'll be honest with you, I did a terrible job with him. I put feed in his feeder, and I brushed him once all summer, and there he was. That's a good hog. That hog was bigger and he's kind than his daddy. He's got a little more jawline, a little more look, a little more length of cannon, a little more upright in his blade, and give you a little more elevation than that boar will. He'll give you the same kind of back shape and center body, probably not as much right in the seat of his pants, but I think there's some value there. We saw Sugar Daddy earlier today, and that one reminds me so much of Sugar Daddy. It's incredible, and if you study and read the pedigree, that's why it does that. So again, I think he makes your sow herd better. The barrows have been good to him. I know Heath has got 4 or 5 barrows going to Highland County. That's a couple of them's out of that one. I think are pretty special. They're still good in that boar. They're still good in him. And again, think about what you've done with him in the past and how much good he did, and just reel in there and do it. Don't be afraid to do something different and do something a little off the wall, like use one you know what'll work, and use one that you know what he can do. Again, I think if you're too small, you're too compact, you're too coarse, turn this guy loose into him. And again, and an affordable kind of a range. That boar and his daddy make an incredible amount of semen. They make lots of high quality juice, and that's why they're priced the way they are. So take advantage of it, make an opportunity for yourself, and make them better. Make them sure and secure behind, make them athletic, make them comfortable. And that's another thing we don't talk about enough, is comfort level. And the barrows out of that one can get up and go and track. And I can tell you several instances this summer, I saw barrows that just didn't look as comfortable as they needed to be. If they took that extra step behind and that extra reach, they probably got their picture taken. So again, that's all business. Line bred to that Sugar Daddy pedigree that's backing behind him. Again, I think one that can make you better in small and compact kind of places.
All business. Honestly, the next boar coming in is one of the boars I'm the very most excited about on this farm. Seeing pigs out of him this year. This is Iron Chef. Iron Chef is a half-baked, which would be a best man's son, blind luck times are you my sister. He's bred by the Herd family in Oklahoma. He is a stress negative. Your book says stress carrier. Your book is wrong. He is a stress negative. And this boar has just done an incredible job. We're going to look at his littermate brother here in a minute. But this boar has sired a set of pigs that went out this summer and have just exceeded my expectations. This is Iron Chef.
I'll talk this next couple of boars. I had a little bit to do with this program here back in when I was ag teaching there at El Reno. We had over 100 sows that my parents and students had and bred. Dr. Reese Cole, the Beard family, and several others there, the Robinsons and the Herons, and we just had a whole crew of people that were breeding hogs and raising barrows and got really successful. Well, in that process, they raised some really, really nice gilts making those barrows. And this boar, this next pair of boars comes from that program. I know his mother, I know his grandmother, and you can go back 5 generations, and all of them are really good, all the way back through there. Good show gilts, good barrow making sows. This boar here is the litter mate to the champion there at the World Pork Expo. We had him there at the house. We chose to take the other boar to the show. This is the one I wanted to keep, and I kind of had him stashed back, I guess you would say. We were going to turn him loose on about 40 of them there in El Reno, and his brother just happened to go win the World Pork Expo, and I had a good friend of mine, Tom Lamke, called, and he said, "Was that what the other hogs in them litters look like?" And I'm not a real good liar. I said, "Well, Tom, I got one I really like laid back here," and about 3 days later, Doc Sharrett calls, and he said, "I think I might need that pair." I said, "Okay." So we made it happen. This one here has probably not got the publicity that he deserves. This guy here can move you. He will generate. He is what he is. He's stout. He's got bone. These hogs, if you'll watch them, they can move around the ring, and they can make barrows that can go 45 minutes to an hour, and that's very important nowadays. You got to have long drives. You got to have comfortable skeletons, and you got to get as much power as you can get in them, and this one here can do it all. He's that frame size they're talking about. He puts everything together. Breed him to something that's a little more elevated and got that show look that needs stoutened up, and you will hit a home run. Don't be scared of him because he's black. I've seen litters full of these out of these two boars. We had a litter there on a belted sow that every one of them were belted. So if you don't like black hogs, don't breed them to a black one. But they will throw belts, and they will win shows, and they are very powerful. I think these hogs are priced, this one here is $50 a dose, and if you can't afford to use him, then call me. I'll try to talk Doc down a little bit, but this guy here can flat get it done.
Iron Chef. His brother coming out, Master Chef. Master Chef was the grand champion crossbred boar at the World Pork Expo last year. Ryan Stolkris was a judge. If you heard Ryan's comments about the boar, he thought this boar was the unique breeding boar in the whole barn and was not afraid to use him as champion. Again, pedigree, half-baked, times blood, blind luck, are you my sister? He is a stress carrier. You need to know that. His pigs have extra look. They're extra special. He is priced at $100 a dose. This is Master Chef.
I want to interrupt Bobby real quick. I'll go back to what he said a minute ago about those black ones. I can tell you everywhere that I've been in the last 2 years, and you've heard me say this, you've been around me very long, my favorite color is good. Bow-legged is never good. And every time I go look at a boar somewhere, everybody makes an excuse about a rear leg and about, why that one's pushed out and why that one's bowed out and how he got old. And there's no excuses to be made here, guys. And you just get behind that guy and study the way that hock and his hips all tied together goes right through his ankle, and he's square and secure, and he's an old boar. Very few of them do that with a good, strong pastern set. That one that just went out was really good. The black color thing is ridiculous to me. It's absolutely ridiculous. What color was the champion crossbred gelded Ohio this time? Was she all black? There's a bear that wins last year somewhere that was a killer, all black. I saw a bear out of him 3 days ago in Champaign County. It was reserve FFA. I used to be reserving the open show. Had that much white on him. He wasn't bow-legged and he wasn't messed up. He was fat-legged, dense, tall-shouldered, and good built. If he had that much more top shape, I don't know where I'd ended with him. So again, I'm on my soapbox again, Kevin. I apologize. Color doesn't matter. If he's red and white and polka dotted, I don't care. That one's really good.
Tell you this a little bit about their sire. He was down at Belton, and the Baker brothers brought him out, and he was the best man super monster, and he was my favorite boar of the show. And was talking to George Cooper there, and I actually kind of talked George into buying that boar, and he brought $8,000, and I used him. We used him pretty hard that first season. That boar died after the first collection. So that's why you probably hadn't heard a lot about that sire. That was a bear-making dude. He was square, had the same kind of hip and pin set this hog had, the rib shape. We bred about 10 sows to him, 8 or 10, and I was going to do it again. And then he had an untimely death. The mother we bought out of OIE was by the Lovelace family and out of a Heimer boar. She come off the hill there, and I saw her out there in the ring and just fell in love. The time I got back to her, I got back to that young lady showing that gilt. When I figured out she wasn't going to make the sale, she was right out of it, and got that gilt bought on the spot. After I walked away, about 7 or 8 people gathered around, was trying to bid on the gilt, but they said that Tim talked to me. That didn't go too good for them. We took her home and bred her to half baked. So them things are bred really good. They've got an excellent mama. That sow's still in production. She makes boars about every litter. Just don't be scared to use this pair of boars. I'm telling you, they'll make better pigs. They'll make consistent litters, win counties, state fairs, whatever you want to do with them. But really good pair of boars.
As Scott said, he has sired champions. We've gotten calls in. I did not even know that we sent semen to Montana, but Platte County, Montana, champion overall market hog, was a Master Chef, and there's been several others scattered across the country. This is Master Chef.